first, James breaks, no hits, you know it up, put on more speed. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, side, through the games after this win it. First, you again, we're for the first man. Carry my team there 6 minutes.
Unbelievable place. Great university. Knoxville's unbelievable city, great people. The passion for football is even greater than I thought it would be. And man, you know, Neyland Stadium, I said it, you know, a couple of years ago, and I still think it's the best football experience for a college football fan or a player in the country.
Tennessee became what I wanted it to be without me having to say a word, and that's a big up to Coach Heupel. And you know, a lot of, you know, with the last stuff, I would just sit back and watch everything, and you know, this stuff, you know, they bring you in more. You know, it's more of a family type of environment. So, you know, we pull each other along and we bring the best out of each other because we expect the most from each other because we ourselves are giving that. So, you know, we expect to win games, we expect to win championships, but you know, it's going to come day by day. We know it's going to come with the hard days. We're going to have to work every day for it. Our technique, our plays, you know, knowing what you have to do, it all ties into it. And so we all know that as a group, and under Coach Heupel, you know, we just expect to win. So.
Do you remember when we fell in love? I remember, don't worry. Do you remember? I remember how it all began. How could I ever forget? It's the first time. Do you remember? I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air now. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. It's coming in the air now. We fell in love. You remember how could I ever forget? You remember we fell in love. You remember how could I ever forget? Coming in the air now.
Are boneless wings really wings? No, they're nuggets. Are boneless wings really wings?
No, they're chicken nuggets. Boneless wings are not real. They are not real.
That back there is not real.
Absolutely not. So all the fans that think they're wings, you're wrong.
Nah, man, it's just chicken nuggets with sauce on them.
The wings are bone in. They're like traditional. Boneless is chicken feet.
Chicken nugget. Yeah.
Most definitely, and it's actually the better of the two.
Chicken nuggets.
They meatballs. Fried meatballs. Think about it.
They absolutely are.
You said they are?
No, the chicken nuggets covered in sauce.
Nah, I feel like it's just breaded chicken breasts.
As someone who prefers boneless wings, I'll admit they're not. Mr. DR.
Yes. Absolutely.
No, that ain't no wings, bro. Boneless wings not no wings.
No, I think they like chicken strips, y'all. Chicken strips. Yes, they are.
No, they're basically chicken nuggets.
Keyword, boneless wings. Yeah,
Where's the wing at in it? What is a wing?
Right. It needs bones.
Bones.
Yeah.
It's gonna get eaten though, but it's not a
So,
wing.
Yeah, boneless is really for the folks that don't like to get their hand dirty. But if you got people like me,
Yeah.
get my hand dirty.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
And I'm Coach Jay.
I'm Dauber.
I'm X Factor in the house.
And that is the question of the hour. Are boneless wings really wings? X, you're the one that wanted to get into this. You felt like it was groundbreaking news. You wanted to talk about it. I thought it was hilarious. I'm a boneless wings guy because I'm lazy. It's right there for you. And I know that Coach Jay's in the chat saying fake wings. Craig Pope says not wings. What else we got here? Who else is talking about it? Mrs. Coach Jay says chicken nuggets. Jason says mystery meat. X, are boneless wings really wings?
No, Boogie, I'm sorry. I gotta cut that dream in half, brother. Nah, listen, look, traditional. You gotta go traditional on the way. Like what my man Joe Milton said, look, he likes to get his hands dirty. That's how I feel. Especially, when I'm with the guys and we're watching the game on Saturdays or any other kind of sports on. Like I said, I like to get down and dirty with the traditional wings. So I gotta go traditional.
Coach Jay, I already got your opinion. Dauber, are they wings or are they not? I don't even know who it was, but they said it. It's in the freaking name. Boneless wings. They're wings.
They're not, man. They're not. They're not even close to being as good either.
Chicken tenders. What's funny is, actually, I was talking about, I think it was on the NCAA stream, my go-to tailgate food was always Boogie's wings. And they were bone in. I always fix them bone in. But if I'm going to a restaurant, I'm probably going to be lazy. Look, it's going to be a fun show, man. Obviously, Dauber's back in the house. The X Factor's here. Coach Jay, hot off the plane, hot off the private jet. I'm sure he was on a recruiting trip for USC with Cam Fountain, but he is back here to talk some Tennessee football. We got a fun freaking show. Scrimmage number 2 is in the books. Vols are off tomorrow. They'll be back at it again on Friday and Saturday. 17 days away from kickoff, man. I cannot wait. It's right around the corner. We've got a free T-shirt to give away. We're going to do that here in just a little bit, so sit tight. And also, because of you guys, every single video, every single live stream, ask about this hat. Well, SoNashville.com said, Boogie, why don't we give away one of those hats to one of your listeners? So stay tuned for that. We're going to get into it, give away a hat, give away a T-shirt, all kinds of fun stuff. Let's go way back. Let's go way back to the top here, and let's run down the chat. Let's see who is hanging out. Who do we got? Who was the first arrival? Craig Pope was here asking about injuries. We're going to get into that and talk about it. Wade Rouse, a man with the Talkin VAWLS State Pride logo tattooed on his person, is here dropping those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Tennessee fan is here. Can you explain how our defense is going to be better in the secondary? Well, I did that in a video. I encourage you to go back and watch it. We're going to get into it tonight as well. Pit Boss is here. Matt Dumit is here. Greg Sharp Guy is in the house. What is up, my friend? Isaac Owens is here. Angry Titan in the house. Richard Stubblefield is here. Guys, come on in. Smash the thumbs up. That's quick, free, and easy. And if you want to do this, Pit Boss dropping a 20 spot right out of the gate, $20 entry fee. There's a thing around here. There's 156 people watching. One person paid the door fee. So thank you, Pit Boss, for that. Thank you for the $20. That is not cheap. Miss last live show door fee. So there, that 5+ tip and today's 5+ tip, bro. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that, Pit Boss. Thank you for a very, very generous super chat. So we're going to get into it. We're going to run through the scrimmage. We're going to talk a little bit of recruiting. We've also got Josh Heupel's press conference queued up and ready to go. So stay tuned for that. We're going to get into all of it. But let's start with scrimmage number 2. Offense won the day. Still need to clean some things up, according to Josh Heupel, particularly before the ball is snapped. Better play on the offensive line was the news coming out of the scrimmage. A lot of success in the run game. Right out of the gate, first drive, they took the ball right down the field. Jalen Wright punches it in for a touchdown. I want to talk about Joe Milton, and we're going to come back again to that comment about injury. So sit tight. We're going to come back to that. But I want to open things up talking about Joe Milton. He has obviously had a very good fall camp. All the news is that he's had a great fall camp. Josh Heupel said today that Joe has not thrown an interception in this entire camp, and that should really come as no surprise. Look, last year, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. A year prior to that, even though he got benched, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Joe does a good job protecting football. They said he had a solid scrimmage today. Dauber, you've not been on the channel in a while. You're back. We're full steam ahead. It's go time. What are your thoughts about Joe Milton going into this season? The conversation we've been having on this channel is you get Bowling Green, Joe, that is overthrowing everybody, or you get Orange Bowl, Joe. So what are your thoughts about Joe Milton's fall camp and also just overall thoughts going into year 3 of the Josh Heupel era?
It's exciting. I know there's a lot to be optimistic for. You're playing against yourself. It's kind of soft coverage, kind of initiating the offense, kind of getting things rolling. But I think one of the last times I was on here, I said this offense is going to be geared for Joe Milton to have success. It's not going to be geared for Hendon Hooker. You saw last year when Milton came in, that offense was humming along, but it was set up for Hendon Hooker. The things that we're seeing and reading and coming out of the practices, out of the scrimmage today, is accuracy and decision making. Decision making is the big one for me, because Joe of 2 years ago, he kind of made some decisions that you were kind of questioning. That was a piece. He's got all the talent in the world, arm strength, athletic ability. Some of the decision making kind of gave me pause. But you see today the things that Heupel had to say about QB1. That's exciting. Got good rapport with the receivers. You saw some of those guys back today that didn't get a lot of run in the first scrimmage. So, man, you mentioned the offensive line playing better. That's another big key to Joe's success this year. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. We were camping this past weekend in Townsend and drove back through Knoxville and took a little detour down by the river and ate at Calhoun's and looked at the cathedral sitting over there on the side, right on the water's edge. So got me all fired up. I'm ready.
Coach, you brought up a good point talking about the offensive line. Something that Joe does differently than Hendo Cinco. Joe wants to sit in the pocket. Like, he wants to sit in the pocket, let the play develop. Do you have concerns about the offensive line? I was encouraged today, and it's kind of surprising, right? With Cooper Mays out, we'll get into the injuries here in just a second. What are your thoughts on Joe sitting back? Like, he wants to sit in the pocket. Does this offensive line concern you a little bit with Joe?
It concerns me if he's holding on to the ball too long. In his defense, I thought at times Hendon would hold on to the ball too long in the pocket. Now, he was able to cover that up a little bit better because he was a little bit better at escaping that pocket when it did break down, and he was just a little more slippery as he slid down the slope, I guess we can say. Where Joe, I think his deadliness with his legs kind of lies with that speed option or that straight kind of quarterback draw, the more straight line quarterback run stuff. I think we're going to gain something there. Football, as we all know, is a game where sometimes when one door shuts, another door will open. So I think Dauber was definitely touching on something when he was speaking on how this offense will be geared differently. I think we can definitely expect this offense to be geared differently. And I think that can help the offensive line in some ways. But once again, it's going to come down to that decision making. No doubt about it. He needs to make quick decisions right there. He needs to understand his run check, pass check, pass check, or run pass run check that this Heupel, Mike Leach, Art Broyles offense was kind of built on. So his ability to do that will be how far this offense can go.
And the thing that I want to add too is like Dauber was saying, about the decision making. I think for me personally, it's about his accuracy because, it's like what you said, Boog. I mean, are we going to get Bowling Green Joe to where, like saying, just overthrow Joe, just giving him that nickname just right off the bat. But, hearing some of the reports coming from the second scrimmage, you heard really good things that Joe Milton was more accurate with the ball. And that's what you really want to hear, is that he's progressing to get better and better accuracy wise, and decision making does play an important part of it as well. But I just think for me personally, like, I just don't want to, like, we all know he has a cannon of an arm. I mean, we all know, we've seen it with the orange. We know he's got a cannon, but he has to be accurate with the football, because just because you have a cannon of an arm and you can't hit your targets downfield, it's not going to be a good success for us. But overall though, I mean, I like hearing good things about Joe. And like I said, just one interception. I mean, hey, it is what it is. He's going to build off of those mistakes and just progress forward. So, but I'm not too concerned about Joe. I think he's going to be just fine.
I'm I'm laughing at the chat. I want to keep talking about Joe Milton. We're going to do that here, but I'm laughing because I feel like this is a fashion channel. Everybody is always concerned about what everybody is wearing. So first and foremost, we were talking about Coach Jay's shirt right before we went live. Did you all ever figure out where did you get that shirt, Coach Jay? Did you ever figure it out?
No, Miss J, if you figure it out, let everyone know in the chat. I think it was just the almighty internet AI algorithm that knew what to market to my social media account that day, because I think it just showed up and I bought it. So yeah.
They're always listening. They're always
Yes,
watching.
that's
What about
right.
Dauber's hat? Everybody wants to know where Dauber's hat came from.
Bad Day Hat Company. But
I
it's
like
a great day.
It is very good.
I
Very
thought
cool hat.
I thought I was going to rep this shirt and everybody was going to make some smart comment about it because you cannot buy this. This is not available to the public. This is an exclusive. Shout out to Kaner for sending me the VolQuest shirt. I don't even think I've told him this yet, but I saw him wearing it on a VolQuest podcast, and I was like totally ripping that shirt off. And I started screen capturing the letters and sent them to my stepbrother. And I was like, bro, we need this to say Talkin VAWLS. So he's working on it. Shout out VolQuest. We didn't steal your idea. Look, it's not like it's their idea. Everybody that sells Tennessee merch is using the letters right now. The university's doing it. Everybody's doing it. But shout out Kaner. Appreciate the shirt, buddy. So I told him I would definitely rep it on a live stream.
And me, like I said, I mean, I'm just repping, just a great tee. But it's okay though, because listen, I'm saving it when the season starts. Because I don't know if you guys were here, during last season, but I got a little swag in the closet, back in the other room. Like I said, but I'm
He's
saving.
upset. X is upset because everybody always talks about his clothes and they're not talking about X because he's got a gray t-shirt on.
Yeah.
All right, circle back around. We got to talk some football. We got to keep talking about Joe Milton. And man, it's the world of YouTube. Sometimes you make a banger video and it's like, this is so good, and nobody watches it. And then you make a horrible video and everybody watches it. But I made a video off of JD Pickell talking about Joe Milton, right? And we talk about Joe and accuracy and can he convert on some of these intermediate throws. And I was watching JD Pickell. He put out a video and it's like, yes, there are a lot of expectations on Joe, a lot of pressure on Joe, a lot of hype. Man, everybody in the national media is talking about Joe Milton right now. But when you hear that the offensive line had a good day, when you hear that they ran the football successfully, that sets Joe up for success. Run the football, get that safety down, and now you don't have to put it in those tight windows. And I think we saw it, Dauber, in the Orange Bowl, right? He wasn't necessarily pinpoint precision, but he put enough air under it where Ramel Keaton could go get it. Squirrel White could go get it and go make a play, right? And it's not that he hit him in stride and it's a touchdown, but he's converting on those big, deep throws. And I think, we look at Joe and we put so much pressure on him, but if you can set him up for success, if your offensive line plays efficient, if your running backs play efficient, if the defense takes a step, everything gets easier for Joe, Dauber.
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of those complementary things. It's a give and take. If the line is blocking, if you're running the ball well, you're going to keep the defense honest. They're not going to be able to stack the box. That opens up the windows. If you hit 1-2 of those deep balls, they're not going to creep in either. And it's all, complementary football. And that's what I love so much about Heupel and the system, this offense he's got. He's setting you up for, not the next play. It might not even be this series. It's further on in the game, something he sees. That's why you saw Jalen Hyatt running wide open against Alabama multiple times. And they just couldn't stop it because Heupel is scheming up all these things. He's putting he's exploiting the secondary, the linebackers, double moves, working off of, digs and crosses and all of these plays. It's so cerebral that making those split-second decisions on defense, you got to do one thing, and if you do that, then he's got something coming right behind where you just left, and that's the thing. When I was talking about decision-making, that's where I want to see Milton, just show out this year. It's making that reading your backer. If they take one step the wrong way, you've got that lane and you've got a guy coming right to that area he left. And that's what's when you break it down. And I know I'm touching in on Coach Jay here, and I can't even come close to the X's and O's part of it. But that's what's so awesome when you watch, because even somebody that doesn't really see that type of football, you can see how Heupel is, making all these little moves to set up this big move.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting to watch, because the way Hype's offense works, it's kind of like I don't know if y'all remember like Austin Powers when there was the giant steamroller coming at the guy and he's like, and it keeps coming, it flashes back to him and he goes, it's like, as a defensive coordinator, I feel that like that's what's happening. It's almost like there's this steamroller coming at you and you want to move, but you can't. It's almost like you get stuck watching the paint dry or something, and it's because it's not terribly complex. It's almost simple. In a lot of ways, it's simple, but it's at hyper speed. You have to digest what's going on very quickly, and not only that, the simplicity has gadgets built into it. So when you in football make a read on something simplistic and you make that simple read, I know you're going to make that read. So I build scheme based on that simple read that you're going to make. And that's what that beauty of that offense is doing. It's playing on that simple read that the defense is making, and then it's making you do it in super fast speed, and it's a problem, guys.
But
It's a
remember,
problem,
Coach, it's all
That
just a
sounded
gimmick,
so
right?
much better coming from you.
Yeah,
I mean, I
it's tough
agree.
for me
Now
to
let's keep
even
going.
verbalize.
I agree.
Sometimes.
Sounds so much better
Yeah.
coming from Coach.
bring Dauber back. We miss Dauber. He's been hanging out with Gabe doing ayahuasca too long.
A shout
Father
out
and
Gabe.
son duo.
I talked to Gabe today. Gabe said he probably can't do the Monday morning show, but he's coming back. He said he would plug in on Wednesdays and on the fan call-in show. So Gabe's going to be back in the house. Had some stuff going on, but we'll get Gabe back in here. X, what were you going to say?
Oh, I mean, everything that, Coach was just saying, I was just saying that, all the haters, from different fan bases, they call our offense a gimmick offense, but it's just comical, because it's like basically everything that Coach Jay just explained it to me was picture perfect, like you was saying. So, but it's just laughable that other fan bases and coaches are saying that, oh, it's just a gimmick offense, all they do is go fast and they spread you out wide and stuff. But it's like, okay, I mean, can you stop it? Because like I said, in the last show, we all seen Coach Saban over on the sidelines getting ready to break another headset, and Jalen Hyatt was running in the backfield just butt naked. So,
and the thing about it, like obviously Jalen Hyatt's got speed. So when you're going fast and you're creating confusion and you've got the wide splits and the stacks and the different route, trees that everybody's like, oh, they are the limited route trees. It's like, well, you sure have a tough time figuring out what direction Jalen Hyatt's going. And it's like, oh, it's just because of his speed. It's not because of the offense. It's because of his speed. You guys recollect what Squirrel White runs? It's like 23 miles an hour. And then my ears perked up when I heard Dante Thornton say he was clocked at 24.3 miles per hour. Jalen Hyatt running free. Now we got two guys out on the field. They're going to be doing that. Like good luck. And that's why when we talk recruiting, me and Coach Jay covering all these receivers that Tennessee was targeting, good luck figuring this thing out. We're the number one scoring offense in the country with a bunch of freaking 3 stars. And no disrespect. Everybody's like, you say that because you're about to disrespect people. Maybe I am. A bunch of freaking 3 stars. What happens when you get legitimate dudes, man? It's going to get real tricky to figure this thing out. Let me catch up on some super chats. I want to talk a little bit about injuries. We're already 30 minutes into this thing. I told you guys we're going to probably go an hour and a half. Wayne for 5, appreciate the super chat, buddy. Give us time. It just started. Wayne's dropping that entry fee. He's talking about me. Boogie, stop insulting us for not dropping entry fees. Shout out, Wayne. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Wayne was up at 1:30 in the morning again last night, sending me music on my email. Shout out, Wayne. We'll be playing some of that on Monday night. Don't worry. Wade Rouse for 5. Appreciate that. Welcome back, Dauber. Glad to see you back out retirement. The man never retired. He just has an off season. Was just talking with Alan earlier. Might get to come to the same game you're going to this year. What game you going to, Dauber?
I'm thinking the South Carolina. I don't know yet though. Taking a new position, so things a little bit up in the air as to what game that I'll get. But I was told I will get a game. So
if you go to the South Carolina game and you see Carolina Jackpot, I want you to walk right up to him and I want you to shake his hand and say that you enjoy his content on YouTube. Adrian Wells for $5. Thank you for the super chat, brother. 17 days, baby. Leave no doubt. Week 1, Tennessee 70. Holy smokes. Virginia 10. That would be exciting. That would get me a little fired up. Nicholas for 2. Thank you for the super chat. Where did Coach Jay get that bad to the bone t-shirt? We don't know. And neither does Coach Jay. And neither
It's
does
on
his
eBay.
wife.
I just looked it up.
Oh,
There
it is
is
on
a
eBay?
couple on eBay right now, but
There
I
you
don't
go.
think that's where I got it. But there is a couple on eBay. If you're
Like if I'm watching a movie and I see a shirt I like, I immediately go to Amazon, and 99% of the time you can find it. I wonder if you go to Amazon and search Darth Vader Tennessee football,
join
it'll pop up.
the Vols site, I believe is what it says. And I think it was right around that time there was a soundbite from the baseball team talking about, like, Embrace being the bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
And that
yeah.
image that Tennessee kind of has. I believe it was right around that time.
Volunteered 77 for $10. That is not cheap. Appreciate that, brother. I'm late, so here's my double entry fee. You guys are so generous. You guys created the entry fee bit and you just run with it. So I appreciate it. D Taylor says Jackpot is a good lad. Oh gosh, adjust your standards. D. Horrible human being. All right, let's talk a little bit about injuries. Came out, VaultQuest broke the news. Was it earlier today, I think, or yesterday? Tyree Weathersby out for the year, season-ending hip injury. Possibly, he's a guy that could have seen himself in the rotation. I was talking with Nelson from Jackson. You guys know him. He's Twitter famous. I tell him that all the time. I was talking with him earlier today about it. He was concerned, and I'm like, Weathersby is a guy. You're talking about 2 true freshmen with Weathersby and Deshaun Bishop also injured. Could he have made an impact? Maybe. Could have found himself into the rotation. He was having a good fall camp. I'm really not too concerned about it. Deshaun Bishop, ankle deal. I think they said it was a ligament injury. Not sure when he's going to be back. Look how deep this running back room is. Again, I'm not real concerned here. Kamal Haddon was held out today. I don't think it was anything serious. Tamarian McDonald, Wesley Walker have been limited, but they're close to being back. As far as the scrimmage today, Elijah Simmons did get banged up. I don't know. I'll let you guys talk on that in just a second. I don't know if you've heard anything. I've not seen if it's serious or not. But then the big one, Daubers, Cooper Mace, minor procedure. But then the more we hear, the more we look, the more we speculate, I don't think he's back for Virginia. I think they're going to hold him out for the opener. I think they're going to hold him out week 2 and then hope that he's good to go for the Florida game. What are your thoughts on the injuries, the health status of this football team?
The news on Elijah Simmons, you hope that's just minor. And I tend to agree with you. I think Cooper, you don't rush him to get back. I think I read something. Heupel did say that he felt like he could be back for the opener, but I think that's a game that this team should go and dominate Virginia, considering what they did to Clemson at the end of the last year. Virginia, I don't think is anywhere close to Clemson.
No,
caliber.
Tennessee's favored by, I think, 28 right now.
So, and then you look at Austin P second game. I cleaned up my desk area and I took my schedule away. So I also kind of revamped the little
Looks
area
good
down here. But it's one of those things. I don't think you rush Cooper back. It sounds like they've got a good rotation. They've got some guys getting run through the camp here. And, like they said today, offensive line played a lot better today. So I like to hear that. I think Mays is going to be critical to kind of anchoring that front line on the offense. And like we touched on at the top of the show, I think Joe Milton's success hinges on that offensive line because everything else kind of goes from there.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about it earlier when, we were kind of discussing a couple weeks back on how far this football team can go, and injuries is, of course, always at the top of that list. We'll see how the center position plays out with Addison Nichols. I do think it's, the Virginia game and the Austin P game allow for a little bit of time. Sure, Virginia's offense is nothing to worry about. As a matter of fact, that should be a great game where our defense shows up and shows out and shows improvement. Like if we don't see big improvement from our defense in that Virginia game, then you might have some cause for a little bit of concern, especially in the secondary, because quite honestly, it's like Shady Pines Convalescent Home should really have a better offense than Virginia's offense. Now, their defense was very serviceable last year. If you go back and watch their defense, it was flat out stingy at times, for their spot in the conference and where they're at. But can you fight past that injuries? How well have your evaluations been going? How good are you really recruiting? When you get those injuries, really when you start to find out some of the answers to these questions. So it's going to be exciting to see. You hate to lose Coop if you lose him for any amount of time, but I'm excited to see what Addison Nichols can do, and it'll be exciting to see him kind of thrust into the fray, if you will.
But you definitely want Cooper Mays back before the Florida game. You definitely want him back for that Florida game because, as we all know, and I'll sit here and preach to the high heavens, y'all know how I feel about Florida. I can't stand Florida. Just as much as Boogie hates the Georgia fans, but yeah, Cooper Mays is going to play a big part. So hopefully that, like I said, that his injury is minor and he'll be back for the Florida game.
And not only that, X, we talked a lot too about how false starts are the kryptonite of this offense, the absolute kryptonite. And that Florida game is going to be a game fought at a peak time in a very hostile environment. Who knows? Will they go into Utah and beat Utah in elevation? I tend to think not, but maybe they pull it off. But either way, you're going to run into a really live crowd and a really loud crowd. And it'd be nice to have Coop rather than a young center and worrying about that false start count. That keeps me up at night a little bit, that whole false start problem.
That was something that came out of today too, was that the offense was very good, whistle to whistle, but in between whistles, in between plays, they struggled at times. Let's see. Where's that chat go? Right here. Chad R in the chat says, Boogie, where can I get that hat? That is the question of the day. I get asked this about 5 to 10 times a day. It's a good time to do this plug. But first, we got to talk about merch, because I told you guys, everybody that joined the channel, everybody that is a member of the channel was going to be joined and entered into this gigantic raffle. So if you're a member of Talkin VAWLS Elite or higher, you got 10 entries. You got an entry for every dollar that you give. And if you don't win the shirt, I'm about to announce the winner. You can still go to bonfire.com and check out the new shirts. Dauber, you've not been on in a while. Can you read that top one? What do you think that shirt says?
It's Fuga, man.
It's Fuga. So how would you spell Fuga?
Just like it is on that shirt right there.
How would you spell it?
That'd be Fuga.
I don't know. You paused at a weird place because I almost thought we should put in a comma at F. F-U-G-A. But I don't know. It's just something that everybody's been talking about. I don't know, but you can go pick one up at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We've also got the new Gator Hater shirt. We've got a TriStar shirt, just a clean TriStar. And look, you can scroll over, pick your style, pick your color, whatever you want. Or if you're spoiled like Mrs. Coach J, Boogie will design a shirt customly for you to ship out. But go check them out, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. But I told you guys last Wednesday, everybody that joined the channel, everybody that's a member of the channel was going to be entered into a gigantic competition to win. And so now I have the winner, and I'm going to announce it right now. It's Joe Brown. Joe's here all the time. I hope he's here now. I know he was here earlier in the stream. Joe's here on Monday nights. He's here every Wednesday night. He comments on every video. Is Joe in the chat? I hope so. And look, Right on cue, Joe drops a member chat, 389 hours, 22 minutes till it's go time. Joe, I need to get your information. I need to get your address so we can send you a free t-shirt of your choice. You can either email me at the email that's on the YouTube channel. You can comment on this video after we go off air. I will get your information, Joe. You are getting a free shirt. So congratulations for that. And then one last quick plug. You were asking, Boogie, where did you get this hat? Everybody's been asking me about it. So I tweeted it out. I tagged the company. I said, hey, do a little something because everybody's wanting to buy this hat. They responded and said, hey, we'll give away one to one of your listeners. So if you want to buy one, they're out of stock. Convenient, right? Convenient that everybody is asking Boogie where to get the shirt. Now they're out of stock, but it's at sonashville.com. They told me today they're going to be restocking them. So if you want one of these, again, sonashville.com, you can go check them out. But they are still going to give one away. So they said, Boogie, do whatever you want to do. Let us know the winner, and we will send it out. So we're running another contest from now until next Wednesday. We'll be live next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Everybody that joins the channel or is a member of this channel will be entered to win. So if you want to be entered, hit the join button down below. The higher you give, the more opportunities you get. So hit the join button. It's as little as $1. We're on a membership drive anyway. If you don't have a power T beside your name, hit the join button, make it happen. That's why Coach Jay's here. That's why Xavier's here. Fan call-in shows is a perk of being a member. Again, only $1 a month. The more you give, the more opportunities you have to win. But you also get custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, the fan call-ins. I try to highlight member comments throughout the stream. So that's where I got the hat, sonashville.com. We're going to be giving away one next week. So make sure you join the channel, make it happen, get in where you fit in. Shout out to So Nashville, man. That's a cool deal that they would be willing to give you guys a free shirt. Let's jump back into it. Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball because, again, sounds like the offense won the first half of the scrimmage. Coach Jay, we talked last week. What do you think going into the first scrimmage, right? Defense needs to win the day. That's what they did. The offense fought back. Now we're going into scrimmage number 2. Sounds like the defense lost early and then fought back in the second half. They did a little overtime period. The defense won that. The linebacker room, and that's why I'm throwing it to Coach Jay because he loves to talk about linebackers, continue to impress. And I know that you put Arian Carter out there early. You put him out there often. Another guy that you were very high on in our film breakdown series was Jeremiah Thielander. He had an interception today. He continues to impress. Omari Thomas, Omar Norman-Lott, James Pierce all had big days. What are your thoughts of this defense coming out of scrimmage number 2?
I'll keep saying it is as long as you allow me to keep yapping about it on your channel, Boogie, or on this.
It's our channel, bro.
Here.
It's our channel.
Yeah, on this community's channel. There you go. It is the fans channel here. But this linebacker room that we're building is something special. I was told once again to pump the brakes on it. Just the other day, because I like to compare it to some of these linebacker rooms that have come through Georgia and Bama recently, but I'm not going to slow down on it. I'm going to trust my own evaluations on some of these kids. I think it's special. I mentioned I think we're going to get some high-level transfers coming out, not because they can't play ball or even play ball in the SEC. I just think they might not be able to play ball here, because you got kids like Thielander and Herring, and of course Arian Carter on campus. These guys are they're fast, they're violent, and overall they're smart. They're very, very intelligent, smart, and fast football players as well. And you put those three things together, and you got a recipe for a really good SEC linebacker. And I think anyone who's been on campus, whether it's been Eric Kane or Eric Ainge or whoever it's been, has kind of sung that praise, and it's what we've seen in the film room, and it's going to be a strength of this team, rest assured, and it will help everything from our defensive line and its blitz packages to our pass defense, and sealing off some of that stuff over the middle that we've been getting beat on, as well as the flats, which have also been kind of an unsung little problem that our defense has had as well. Getting beat on the flats, as well as wheel routes, is another problem our defense has had in the past. So it's exciting to watch that recruiting take place. I think our defensive line is taking great steps. Man, if that secondary takes a 10% leap. I think this defense is gonna really show us something this fall.
Well, let's kind of bleed it into that. I was going to bring that up later, but since you mentioned it, we've been talking a lot about the front seven. I made a video talking about the secondary. Somebody at the top of the show asked, "Why do you think this secondary is all of a sudden going to be better?" And sometimes you guys get drugged through the mud with me because I go out on a limb and make some statement in a video, and all of a sudden they act like your opinion's the same as mine because I made the video. But the secondary has been a little banged up. I mentioned earlier it's Marion McDonald, Wesley Walker, close to getting back today. Kamal Haddon was held out, so Brandon Turnage ran with the ones, and he was across from Danico Slaughter. And I think that, Dauber, is why I believe, and you can disagree with me, agree with me, whatever you want to do, I feel like the secondary is going to take a step because they do have legitimate depth. And people are like, oh, it's just the same guys coming back. Yeah, no kidding. That's what you want.
That's
You want the
what you
same
want.
guys coming back, developing, getting better. I think you have 4 legitimate corners with Brandon Turnage, Danico Slaughter, Kamal Haddon, Warren Burrell. What do they do with the star position, right? That's Tamarion McDonald's spot, but they've been running Gabe Judy Lally there. Warren Burrell. Gabe Judy Lolly's a guy that I thought was going to start at corner. Who's going to lock down the star position? Competition breeds success. Iron sharpens iron. That's why I think they can take a step. Dauber, what do you think about the defense as a whole? You can talk about the front seven, the linebackers, and get into that secondary. Do you think they take a step this year? They got drugged through the mud last year because of stats.
They were the Achilles heel. They were the weak link of that defense last year. But I don't think you could put it all on them. We were not creating a lot of pressure up front. We were having to send the linebackers, fill those holes, using the blitz as a way to create pressure and get after the quarterback, and still not even getting home. So you were leaving those guys out on an island a lot. You were expecting them to do a lot of coverage. That's the key. That's what I think is going to be the difference this year. Why this secondary is going to be better, not just because it's not different guys. You said it. It's the same guys. They've got another year of experience, and everyone else around them has gotten better. You're bringing better athletes in. I think that front four. I think you're going to get pressure off the defensive line. They're going to get in the backfield. They're going to get after the quarterback, allowing your linebackers to, drop back into coverage or play zone. Not necessarily just have to, be in the backfield, helping to create pressure. So that is going to relax everybody else and make it easier for everybody else, especially the secondary.
Another guy that I didn't even mention in the secondary is Andre Turrentine. And he's a guy that transferred in from Ohio State. I was pretty excited about him. They talked about his versatility, pretty highly rated prospect coming out of high school. But again, he's young. And I think it was Willie Martinez, when he met with the media, was talking about him and said, when he first got here, he was trying to figure out the scheme. He was trying to figure out verbiage, what we did, where to be, when to be there. It was kind of a funny interview because he was like, look, he's very excited. And he might be yelling out, it might be rip, rip, rip. And he thinks it's turn, turn, turn. And he's yelling the wrong term, but he's yelling it with aggressiveness and enthusiasm. But now he's getting a grasp on what he's supposed to do, where he's supposed to be, when he's supposed to be there. And that's, again, we're talking about development. X, what do you think? What do you think about this defense, the secondary linebackers? I think the defense gets I shouldn't say a lot. And again, the narrative, they improved 7 points per game. 7 points per game defensively. Dare I say they do that again? They're going to be a pretty dang good defense. But what do you think, X?
Yeah, I think the defense is definitely going to take a big step this year, man. And, just two things for me when I do look at the defensive side of the ball was that, because you look at the numbers from last season and then, it's just pretty obvious. We were just getting beat over the top because we were playing with house money at the time. So I really think that the secondary is really going to, like I said, like all those veteran guys that are coming back. It's like what you said, Book. Like, yes, those are veteran guys. Like they know those positions pretty well. So that's what you want out of the secondary unit. So I think the secondary is gonna possibly step up. But then also the other thing that is my big concern with the linebackers that yes, you have to get after the quarterback. And then also too, like from the reading from the reports too that Josh Heupel mentioned was that, the defense was doing really good on third downs, down on third downs. So like It's what you really want to hear. You really want to get the other team off the field on third down. That was like our other biggest issue from last season. It was just like, we're down in like a third down situation and we just couldn't get them off the field. I can't remember what game it was. They think it was like one play to where like saying like the quarterback was literally like 30 yards up and then he just ran down. I can't remember if it was like 13 and third or 10 and third or something like that. And he just came and got the first down. So that was just the biggest mistake that we can do. But it's really makes you feel good to know that this defense is willing to step up, get better, and yeah, you got to get the team off on third down.
We got almost 300 people watching live right now. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Sometimes it's comical to me. I look back to where we were like 2 years ago, middle of the season, a Wednesday night. We had like 50 people watching live. Now it's not even football time yet. We got 300 people watching. Appreciate you guys choosing us. Appreciate you guys, supporting us when there are other alternatives out there. Everybody wants to start a YouTube channel. There's all the guys in the media that are going from just reporting the news to trying to be YouTubers. So we appreciate you guys riding with us. Coach was stumbling earlier. He's like, your channel, my channel, his channel, her channel, gold jacket, green jacket.
The people's channel.
It is the people's channel. And I think the fact that two of the people on this panel right now, well, I've met X in real life now, and I'm going to be meeting Coach Jay in real life here once we get into the season. But, Dauber's the only guy that I ever knew before we started this channel, right? And I know a lot of guys, the Indie Kid, JP Snake, a lot of people that have been on this channel I know, but also we're building a community, man. If you like it, smash the thumbs up, subscribe, make sure you come hang out, man. It's almost go time. The week before the season, we're going to fire up the fan call-in shows on Sunday, Monday morning streams. We're going to have Monday's going to be an audible, going to be a little different that first Monday. Sports Talk Jay and BBD are going to be in the house Monday night, but the regular schedule is going to be a morning show with Eric Kane. Friday, me and Coach Jay, and we're probably going to try to get Ben McKee, maybe Austin Price, maybe Matt Ray. We'll rotate some guys on that Friday show. Wednesday nights at 7. Busy schedule. Busy schedule. We're going to bring you guys as much content as possible, but always help us out by smashing the thumbs up. We would appreciate it. But look, and again, shout out to Kaner, man. Shout out to Kaner. He called me up the other day. He's like, what's your address? I need it ASAP. I'm like, bro, I'm driving down the interstate. Hold on just a second. He's like, I'm gonna send you a shirt. And so and then today I'm like, I want to be able to show the press conference. And I texted Kaner and he's like, bro, I can send you the media file from Tennessee and you can share it on your channel. So that's what we're going to watch here. We're going to check out Josh Heupel's press conference talking about scrimmage number 2. Jordan Boyd becomes a member of the channel. Shout out Jordan. We appreciate that support. Also, Christopher Bernard becomes a member of the channel. Thank you, Christopher. That is a big, huge, important way you can support this channel. So we appreciate that, guys. If you're not a member, we would appreciate the support. Hit that join button. All right. Let's watch the press conference. I know some of you guys probably already watched it. We're going to break down Heupel's comments from today. If I can find it. Where is it? All right, there we go. It's a little different because I have to share the window. Listen to me. All right, we're good. All right, you guys let me know how the audio sounds. I can take it up or down. Logan says, love watching Kane on the way to work. Kane in the morning, Boogie in the afternoon. Yeah, man, I love – dude, like I built so many relationships with the media. Kaner is he's the dude, man. I love Eric. It's give and take. Some people show up and they want their face on your channel so they can grow. And I'm not saying Eric doesn't want to do that, but Eric's also it's give and take, man. He helps me out a lot. I'm very appreciative of what Eric does. All right, let's take a listen here to what Josh Heupel said coming out of scrimmage number 2. Get that out of the way. All right, here we go. Audio good?
I can't hear nothing.
No, I can't hear nothing either.
Mm-mm.
You can't hear anything at all?
Nope.
I bet I know what I have to do. I bet I didn't hit share audio. Let me do this again.
But the chat's even saying no audio, no sound. No.
Yeah, I've never. Let's see. What the heck? Why is it not showing audio? Bear with me, guys. This is the first time we've ever done it this way. Let's see. Let's see. You guys really can't hear the audio?
I could read his lips for you if you want, Boogie.
This is going to piss me off. You can't hear that audio?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Nope. No sound.
All right. Gosh, this is pissing me off. Nothing like mistakes and errors happening live on air. Let's see if we can do it this way. Hold on. Let's see. Video file. Let's go right there. Boom. Now, can you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Let's crank it up that way. Here we go.
Good day out there. Excuse me. Good energy on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Got some good special teams work. Did some normal drive work, but got some coming out, and then finished it with some overtime. Plays on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Offense got some things going early. I thought defense did a really good job in the middle part of the scrimmage, getting off the field. Third down, defense was really strong for the most part. And, in the overtime, I thought the defense did a great job. They played really good football in the overtime period. So, all in all, good day's work. 2 weeks away from kickoff, 2 and change, and got a lot of things that we got to continue to clean up on both sides of it. The communication side, I thought could have been better offensively, just some of the mechanics stuff. But all in all, good work. It also lets us know where we got to improve before we get to Nashville.
Coach, I asked you this last week, and I'm going to ask you this again this week. Last week we talked about going into scrimmage number 1. What are you looking for? Or who do you want to win? Now you're going into scrimmage number 2. Like, what are you really looking for? Are you looking at position battles? Are you looking at overall? What are you looking for as a coach going in? Probably Tennessee's last scrimmage before the season starts.
So, not to get too technical, but I'm going to try to. As a head coach, communication mechanics. I mean, he said it right. It jumps out at you. Just how is your team lining up, playing football? How are you getting your calls in? How are your different different variants getting in from sideline to actually in field? How are your checks getting registered from offense? Not only from the offensive coordinators to captains to on-field captains to the defensive side of the ball, really the position battle things, you kind of want to lean on your position coaches for something like that. You can keep an eye on it to a degree, but I truly do believe that Josh Heupel is a head coach that has his eye on the larger prize, which is just how are we lining up? How are we playing football? How are we working within our process? And make no mistake about it, Hype's one of those coaches who has a process, a procedure for how you win football games, right? So how are we executing that process that we've created to win football games? And then I would think you'd want to lean on your position coaches to be monitoring your position battles and then meet with them individually later as you're reviewing film. So I think at this point, you might not have your eye on those exact position battles, but your concern is more, how are we lining up? How are we playing football? How smooth are we? Because if you're not smooth, you're not quick. If you're not quick, you're not fast. If you're not fast, this team is built on speed, right? So if
fundamentals.
how is your engine running, right? Think about it. I'm not really an IndyCar or a NASCAR guy, but how is my engine running as that car gets around the track, right? How's my overall process going? And it sounds like he wasn't completely happy with that communication and mechanics process. So they're going to continue to dial that in. And to me, it's not a negative thing. It's a positive thing that we're aware of something like that and looking. It's something like that. The position battles, Coach Marie, Coach Ellerby, Coach Hazel, all these guys. I think Coach Hype truly trusts her. They wouldn't be there, and they're going to be the ones making those decisions. So I think he's just got his eye on the bigger prize and wanting to push towards that. I don't know if that answered your question or not.
Perfect. That was great.
No.
Ben. No mic. Josh, just I guess would it be fair to say that the offense made a jump from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2? Just how would you assess that jump if you would?
I don't know if made a jump. I thought they made some plays. Some of our vets we did let go in this one. They got some early work and then got out in the middle part of the scrimmage. I thought there were some really good things that happened up front, protection early in the football scrimmage. There's some things just mechanically how we function and operate that we got to get better at too, and it was all positions.
Rob and Patrick.
As you mentioned the offensive line, how did you function up front without Cooper and personnel-wise? What did you look like?
We've had multiple guys going at center, like I said when I talked about Cooper being out. Thought all those guys, handled it as far as the communication once they got the play call in a really positive way. I think our protection with the one group in particular has been pretty sound for the most part, and those guys got to continue to grow. We'll find out, as we continue to finish up training camp, where we're at with, who will run out there with the first group the first game.
Josh, with Joe,
I didn't say a whole lot there, did I?
with Joe, how was his accuracy today, and how has it been compared to the rest of the camp?
Man, he was really accurate with the football, really decisive. Been a really good decision maker. I don't know if he's thrown a pick all training camp. Been in control of the protections for the most part. We've continued to push their hand on that side of it. That's Joe, but that's the guys behind him right now too, and I think they've continued to grow in that way.
Wes and Austin.
If I remember correctly, after the first scrimmage, you mentioned a couple of little mechanical things offensively that needed to get cleaned up, and you said the same again today. Is that just common stuff for this time of year in training camp? I know you never want to see it, but is it common stuff?
Some of it is. The first scrimmage, in all reality, was probably a little cleaner than today's, but it was just operationally off the sideline, play clock, getting things settled as we get out there on the field, first play of a drive. I'm not worried about where we're at. We're pretty intentional on working those things during practice. I thought today could have been cleaner, but it wasn't just one guy. It was all of us just need to be a little bit cleaner.
So he's talking about all of us, Dauber. Everybody needs to clean things up. Something that bothered me. It bothered me. And it's so funny, like listening to Coach talk about what he wants in scrimmage number 2, and then from a fan's perspective, what I want to hear coming out of scrimmage number 2. Something that bothered me with Joe coming out of scrimmage number 1 was situational football. And you're talking about a 5th-year senior. So you're talking about play clock issues. You're talking about all this stuff going on. It's not whistle to whistle, like the execution, the reads, the throws, all that's good. It's between plays that's a problem. You got a 5th-year senior, and again, I know he's talking about everybody, but I'm specifically throwing this at Joe because, again, situational football. Battered ball syndrome. I flash back to the Ole Miss game, and he runs out of bounds. You're a 5th-year senior, Dauber. You got to dial that in. You got to clean that up. That should not be a problem in scrimmage number 2.
Oh, 100%. And, what I like coming from Heupel here is, he's lumping everybody in. He said, from the top down, it's something that everybody has to clean up before they get to Nashville, like he said. And it's, it is the lining up, the being in correct position. You look back, the last Heupel's first year, going back to the Pruitt era, you had guys 1-2 steps out of position, and what happens? You get beat because this is big boy football. This is speed. This is quickness. Being just a little bit misaligned, and that's the difference between a tackle for no gain and a 40-yarder. So it's those little things, and that's a good thing to as a fan here. We've got little things that we need to clean up. He didn't say, I'm concerned about this or that. He said there's those little things, and it's those little things that make a difference in the grand scheme of things. And when you've got a coaching staff that understands that, but recognizes, hey, there are little things that we need to clean up, because in a close game, that could be the difference.
Mm-hmm. Let me hit this super chat real quick from Volunteered77. Thank you for the $5 super chat. We appreciate that, brother. All I ask from RD is to shut down Spencer Rattler. Spencer's about to be rattled. Welcome to Neyland. X, how much money do you want to put that Tennessee beats the brakes off of South Carolina?
But say balls by 50, I'm putting 50 on it.
Yeah, see, last year I tried to warn you guys. I tried to let you guys know that was a tough game. We needed to be concerned. We needed to be worried. This year,
Hey, but I was
fast
right
and
there
free.
with you though, because something was telling me I was like, boys and girls, I don't know about South Carolina, you know. So I'm right there with you, Boog.
We're an hour into this thing. The women and children have gone to bed. Tennessee is going to beat South Carolina's ass. It is not even going to be close. You heard it here first. You can tag me up. You can let me know. Look, who was it? Was it Barstool, Rocky Top, or somebody tagged me because I said Tennessee was going to beat the piss out of UTSA? They bookmarked my tweet. And it's like, what are you going to do? Come back and harass me after the fact? That's all that ever happens on this channel. Don't worry about it. I'm perfectly confident and comfortable taking the heat. I'm not worried about it at all. Let's hear more from Josh Heupel. Somebody on Facebook, Troy says,
being held out.
Troy says that Coach seems like he don't like these press conferences. I don't care if Coach likes them or not, because I like letting him read the coach speak, right? We get coach speak, and then I make coach translate it. So
I think he's just more pissed of like we were talking about. Like I said, just the offensive line and just these little minor mistakes that everybody not lining up correctly. I think he's more pissed about that. Than
wait, did I read that wrong? Is that Coach Heupel or Coach J? Because I thought that was Coach J he was talking about. I don't know who Troy's talking about.
Maybe.
I don't
Probably
know.
both.
Maybe
Probably
I read
both.
that wrong. Maybe I read
Me and
that
Coach
wrong.
Hype got stuff to do, man. We got to get better. All right, we got time to play press conference tiddlydinks.
And listen to people like me ask you stupid questions. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, we got communication mechanics to work on first. I love it.
All right, let's hear more. Here we go.
Various points in time during fall.
Let me go back. Let me hear AP's question.
Cleaner, but it wasn't just one guy. It was all of us just need to be a little bit cleaner.
Some of the older guys, being held out at various points in time during fall camp. It seems like Caleb Webb has been one that's taken advantage of that with the reps he's gotten. What have you seen? You always use the word intentional. What have you seen about him that's been intentional with his growth?
Yeah, from the off season to where we are today, he's been very intentional. I don't know if anybody spends more time in the building catching balls off the jugs. He's always coming back for extra work in the middle of the day to understand, what he's doing, what he's seeing to continue to grow within our offense, understand defensive structure. He's just, he's gotten a lot stronger. His lower body in particular, that's helped him, speed, getting in and out of breaks. He's just continuing on his football journey with a real purpose every day, and small strides end up to big gains by the time you get to kickoff. And really pleased with him. Chaz Nimrod is a guy that's done the exact same thing. He's continued to grow. He's played multiple positions within our offense, and really excited about Chaz and Caleb.
Let's talk about wide receivers. X. Everybody tells me that Brew McCoy's gone after this year. Ramel Keaton's gone after this year. I think Dante Thornton is coming here on a business trip looking for a one and done. So he's gone. And sometimes people question the depth at wide receiver, but I hear that from coach. I hear that in the practice reports that Caleb Webb is balling out. And again, seize the moment, take advantage of your opportunities. Brew, Ramel, Squirrel, and Dante Thornton are kind of sitting out. It's like preseason NFL. They're getting a little bit of run and then sitting out. Some of these young guys are getting an opportunity. You talk about depth. Caleb Webb and Chaz Nimrod are redshirt freshmen, and you're not counting on them to contribute. But next year, it's going to be their third year in the system. Nathan Laycock, a guy that shot up through the rankings last year when he was added to the class of 2023. Mike Matthews coming in as a 5-star prospect. Tennessee's done a pretty good job recruiting at wide receiver. What do you think about the depth? If the worst happens, if Brew goes down, Ramel Keaton goes down, what do you think about the depth in the wide receiver room?
Well, I mean, it's next man up, and of course you don't want to think about that as far as like injuries come into play. But like you said, if it does happen, it's just the next man up. But as far as like the depth situation, I mean, I think we're pretty still solid in the wide receiver group. I mean, yeah, you do have 2 redshirt freshmen coming in, but you also too, you got to remember we still got Squirrel White. I really feel like Squirrel White's going to be here to stay. And he's going to be a veteran guy too. We know he's going to get better. He's going to, like saying, progress more. But yeah, but I say, like saying, that those freshman guys, like saying, they're going to actually, like you said, take this experience and learn from, like saying, these senior guys that are ahead of you. And yeah, I feel like that they're really going to step up and ball out. So, and then also too, you got to just keep stacking those classes no matter what. Because yeah, we say now that we're good in the wide receiver room, but like all those players that you mentioned, Brew, Ramel, and all those other guys, once they go off to the NFL, I mean, you got to keep stacking those classes. But for right now, as far as depth wise, I think we're pretty solid. But in the near future, like, you gotta hope that your freshman guys can just take this experience in, learn what they can learn, get better, progress, and then just keep stacking those future classes.
Yeah,
Well,
and
that's
well, hold on, Dauber. And then you can go, like, people saying no experience, that's going to hurt. Like, Squirrel White didn't have experience last year, and everybody's making him the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like, what if Nathan Laycock is this year's Squirrel White? Sorry, Dauber, go ahead.
I was going to say, these guys that are a redshirt freshman, that have been in the program, they've seen the blueprint. They've seen the blueprint of Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman. These guys that weren't really game changers, weren't really, go back to Cedric Tillman. How many catches did he have prior to last year?
8. Oh no, well, the year before that, 8.
Right. And then you look at last year. They put in the work off season. They showed, this is what I've got to do if I have these goals to achieve. And this offense, man, if you're a skilled position player, why would you not want to come here and exploit your talents? Because that's what it's designed to do. If you've got the talent, they're going to put you in position to have success with that talent, and you reap the benefits after. You win the national wide receiver of the year award. You go get drafted. You show out at camp. Look at these guys right now making news. That, I dare say, would have happened under previous coaching staffs, because talent kind of just came in, all the potential in the world, and then just plateaued. And the only guys that got better were the guys with immense athletic abilities that couldn't be held down by the coaching staffs. This coaching staff is coaching them up. They're growing and learning, and not just physically in the game, but mentally in the game.
Like Cam Selton's the guy that ran with the ones today. Like, we didn't even get into that talking about the scrimmage. He ran with the ones because they're going to find a way to get the athletic guys on the field. We got 300 people watching live. Smash the thumbs up. We would appreciate it. Share this thing out. Put it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, MySpace. Is MySpace still a thing? You got your top 8. You got your music. Put it up there. Put Boogie in your top 8 and let people on MySpace know that we're live. We would appreciate it. Let's hear more from Coach Heupel. I wanted to get into recruiting. I don't think we're going to do that tonight, but just want to remind you guys, Saturday, Camarion Franklin is going to be making a decision. Everything seems like Auburn, but guess what? Me and Coach are going to go live on Saturday, and we're going to break down NIL. We're going to break down Auburn and what that means with Jordan Ross, and Jordan Ross not including Auburn in his top 4. So maybe Camarion Franklin doesn't go our way, but does that mean we are getting a 5-star edge rusher in Jordan Ross? Little teaser, but make sure you guys join us on Saturday. Let's hear more from Coach Heupel.
A couple injury questions. One, can you confirm Bishop and Weathersby, they're out for the year or for a while?
Weathersby will be out for the year. Deshaun is not out for the year, but will be out for an extended period of time, probably a couple months.
And secondly, with Cooper, do you feel like you're in holding pattern until he gets back? Or is it more preparing to play Virginia without?
When you say holding pattern?
Just, he's going to be back soon, so we just need to, he'll be back, everything will be fine for the opener, or are you preparing, we need to be ready to play without Cooper?
No, I mean, we believe we'll have an opportunity to have him back. Everything's gone well since, he, missed training camp and had the issue that he had. But at the same time, and it's true for every position, but in particular the offensive line, you better have contingency plans. You don't know when that's going to happen. A guy gets an ankle. You guys have seen that since we've been here, and So every week you got to understand, where you're at going into the game, how you want to manage and play those guys if you're healthy. But if something happens to one of those 5 guys, somebody gets nicked up, who's the next in? How are you shuffling your front 5 if, in particular, a center goes down? So those are things that, you work through every training camp and throughout the course of the season.
Coach Jay, you're snickering. What are you snickering at? Are you talking to somebody off air, or do you got something to say about Heupel's
No,
words?
no. It's just the whole holding pattern comment killed me because I know Coach Heupel wished like a Joey Pesci type gangster guy was sitting beside him going, holding pattern. What are you talking about? Holding pattern. You know what I mean? Want to hit him with a telephone or something when he said that. It's like you don't have time for a holding pattern. You get in a holding pattern, you're going to walk out there against Alabama or Florida and get your butt handed to you quick. Like holding pattern at the center position and the offense that they run. Listen, guys, in a speed offense, they call the center position the gas pedal. That's what that position is referred to, right? Because that's how fast you can go. That the quarterback doesn't dictate pace in Josh Heupel's offense. The center does. So get your head around that, your mind around that for a second. You go as fast as the center can line up your offensive line, dictate the blocking, and then get the ball height. That's how quick you go. So you don't have time to sit around and wait. There's no holding pattern. It's you're hurt. Give me the next guy and let me figure out how hard I can get my darn foot down on that darn gas pedal and get this thing moving. That's it. There's no in between. There's no halfway. You got you there's one speed, fast. Can you do it? If not, get off of my football field and give me someone who can, because I gotta move. There's no middle ground here. We gotta go and we gotta go quick. And I would just bet dollars to donuts that Heupel thought that was a stupid question.
I like it. Let's hear more. I think Cooper Mays is a huge deal, man. And some of the people in the chat kind of in the same deal with me. I think he's probably good for Virginia, probably not going to play till Florida. But I've also seen people in the chat saying, okay, is he in football shape? You've not, like, he's missed so much time. But I think he is the anchor of that offensive line, man. He is the anchor, like Coach Jay just said. Negavall says, Boogie, put up the membership link. I want to upgrade, and I'm, of course, on the YouTube hated Apple product. Well, how many times do I have to tell you guys to take your iPhone, throw it in the trash can, go buy an Android, and then you can join the channel? The link to join the channel is actually pinned to the top of the live chat. So you can click that. It's also in the description. Or if you're on a quality Android product, you can hit the join button down below. It's $1, guys, $1. If you like the content, the live streams, the banter, the community, whatever it is, if you like this channel, if you tune in every day to see what's going on, I ask you to hit that join button and become a member. You guys are the reason that this is my full-time gig. I could not do it if I didn't have that certain amount. I'm not going to talk numbers, but that certain amount of people that join this channel. We appreciate you guys. You guys make the dream work. So let's hear more from Coach Heupel.
Coach, you said after the first scrimmage, the run game kind of closed out strong. How would you assess that group today?
Yeah, we'll be able to see more as you go back and watch it with all the bodies, and the moving parts up front. I thought at times we're really efficient and effective. There's some things that are unique within our run game that I thought, our guys handled really well. Some of that in our pull schemes. I thought the backs did a really good job of pressing, making cuts, some of that coming out the back door. We managed the load of, the guys that you've seen play a lot of football here. A lot of our young backs got a lot of work today. I thought they handled and operated better than they did in the first scrimmage as they continue to get comfortable in how we play.
Coach, I know it's a double-edged sword, in terms of good pass protection. What does that mean for your pass rush? There's been a lot of talk about getting better with a four-man pass rush. Through 2 scrimmages, where do you think you are with that four-man rush?
Not just the scrimmages, the practices are extremely important too to evaluate where you're at. I know that we've taken strides. That's in the interior, that's on the edges. We've added depth, which allows those guys to rotate more and stay fresh. I'm excited about what we're doing on the front four at this point, and some of the things that we have to grow in particular, pass defense in general, but third down defense, third and long defense in particular as well. A huge part of that's the back end, your backers included, but it starts with getting a really good pass rush. I'm excited about the growth that I've seen so far.
Sort of following up on that, what kind of progress have you seen throughout camp from Josh Joseph and James Pierce? How those guys come along?
Yeah, first of all, those guys dramatically changed their habits off the field. They changed their bodies because of that within what we're doing, strength and nutrition. And their level of play and understanding of what we're doing has continued to grow in a really big way. I've said this before, but, there's a difference between guys that come in mid-year, I'm talking about true freshmen, and guys that show up, late May, early June. Those guys were both June arrivals last year. They did some really positive things last year, but they've had a really good offseason of continued growth.
At this point in fall camp, 2 scrimmages in, look at the secondary. I know you're trying some different pieces back there. Anybody separating themselves from the pack?
Well, similar to offensive line, right? You got to have contingency plans as far as where guys are going to truly navigate to get your best 5 on the field. You got to have some depth at those positions too, and rotate some during the course of a ball game. We got some young guys that have really grown here over the last 11, 12 practices. Excited about them. They'll play some defensive snaps, but they'll play a ton on special teams too, our vets. I'm excited about the guys that, maybe missed a little bit of time last year or here early in training camp. I feel like they've really grown in our schemes, understanding communication, fundamentals, and technique. The next couple of weeks are hugely important, as we get everybody back healthy to make sure that we grow the right way before kickoff.
So much interesting stuff. Trying to read at coach speak, but talking about the young guys, Christian Conyer, Ricky Gibson, Jordan Matthews, that's who he's talking about on special teams. That's where they're going to contribute in 2023 is on special teams. But again, going like full circle, going back to the very beginning, somebody saying, how do you think the secondary is going to be better? Because he's talking about those young guys that are coming along. Look, Danico Slaughter's a senior. Kamal Haddon is a senior. Those guys have been in the system. They're developing. They're getting better. But you talk about some of the young guys like, Andre Turrentine in the secondary. Like, development is so important. But that's why I think, Dauber, this secondary can improve. Not to go back and beat a dead horse. We already talked about it. But, I just think the secondary improves going into year 3.
I mean, you hope so. Can it get much worse? And
that was the title of my video. I got yelled at. Dauber. I got yelled at over that. They said, Boogie, I'm tired of your clickbait. They said, I'm tired of your clickbait. I said, nobody made you watch. And they said, you don't say anything in your videos anyway, but I watch every one of them. I'll see you tomorrow, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Yeah. I saw that, and that's why I went there. No, like I said earlier, I think across the board, the defense is going to be better, but because you're able to get pressure with the front 4, that's going to allow your linebackers to play in positions where they would have otherwise been blitzing, which takes some pressure off the guys on the back end. So, I mean, that's what we're hoping for. The guys that are going to be playing are the same guys that we've seen, especially at the cornerback position, but they have another year of experience. So, I mean, it's all hopes and wishful thinking right now. When they put the ball on the tee and kick it off, we'll know more then. But it's a rare feeling the last couple of decades going into a season being this confident across the board, not just from the offensive side of the ball, not just from a couple players. I'm pretty confident in this team as a whole. I'm extremely confident in this coaching staff. They've not given me anything to diminish that confidence I have in them. One of the things is, you look at I know you said we probably aren't going to get into recruiting, but you look at the type of guys they are recruiting. you look at the guys that are there. I want to say it was Elijah Simmons. I can't remember if we've talked about it on the show or not, but he was talking about the guys that come in on recruiting visits. It's not just the coaches and the staff that are evaluating these guys. The players. There's a leadership team. They can go and they have enough leadership that they're like, hey, coach, I don't think this guy's going to be a fit to the team that we have, this dynamic that we have, and that's something that not a lot of teams have. You're not gonna. They don't want somebody to come in and disrupt the chemistry that they have in that locker room, and that's huge. Given that these are college age young men, and the way the world of college football and NIL and me first, grab that bag, all of that, there's more to it than this team. And it doesn't seem like there's a lot of that type of attitude, that type of kind of prima donna that this coaching staff is going for. They're kind of in on these guys, but then when they kind of get to know them, they're like, man, they kind of back off of some of these guys. So I wouldn't be so concerned about missing out on some of these 5 stars and, these, the next flash in the pan hot name in recruiting, because I think this coaching staff knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I just wanted to add on just to circle back, to the special teams. Honestly, I feel like, just a little bit, we kind of don't give the special teams any credit or respect either, because last season, the special teams, they really balled out. And from what I'm hearing, like saying from this press conference, like from the first scrimmage, Josh Heupel was saying that he was really, really impressed with special teams. And then now he's kind of saying it with this second scrimmage of special teams that, yeah, I think the special teams plays a really important part as far as like this whole team going forward. Because like I said, like we all talked about it, last season, like saying D. Williams actually had a punt return. Kid was electric. I mean, really electric. So, but yeah, it kind of makes me a little excited to see how special teams is going to develop in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's talking about how special Jackson Ross is as a punter. As goofy as that sounds, they're saying that he showed you nothing in the spring game, but he's a special kid. How good's the Charles Campbell, the kid that transferred in from Indiana? I have no idea. D. Williams, though, you hit it. He's going to be special. I'm excited to see more of him. We got still over 250 people watching live. We're going to wrap up. We're going to listen to the last few words here from Josh Heupel. And then don't forget, Saturday, Camarion Franklin's going to be making his college decision. We're going to be talking about that. Me and Coach Jay will be here bringing it to you live. Tune in for that. Monday, I think, what was that I told you, Coach? I think Camarion Franklin is pretty late in the evening, and I think Jordan Ross is in the afternoon. If that's the case, we'll still do the NCAA stream on Monday. But just stay tuned. We'll be dialed in. We'll let you guys know when we're going live. But let's wrap up these comments.
What kind of offseason and camp has Jalen Wright had? He's always been such an impressive guy when he gets out in space, athletically. Just how's he done in terms of staying healthy, doing all that stuff?
Yeah, he's been healthy throughout the course of training camp. His body's dramatically different. He's one of the guys that we recognize as we started training camp, just for what he had done in the offseason, the changes that he had continued to make to his body. Been very intentional in his work. He's continued to grow, and just being able to, have a championship mindset, be able to reset from play to play with passion, not playing just straight out of emotion. Been great with the young backs. He's been a great leader, great teacher for those guys. He's into it when he's not even the guy that's getting the reps. On the football side of it, he's a guy that, as you said, early in his career, just wanted to run around everything and just use his speed to his advantage. That's how he had kind of developed as a young back in high school with some of what they did. He can still do all those things, but he's got really good vision. He understands blockers. He understands how to use them. He delivers double teams to the second level. He finds space. His vision on the backdoor cuts his grown. He's doing it at the right time. He's playing at a really high level.
Last question, Rob.
Coach, from the outside looking in, it looks like you got more depth in the secondary. That's been tested a little bit with guys being nicked up. Do you feel like you're you're deeper there and more able to sustain injuries?
Yeah, we absolutely are deeper on the second level, our second and third levels. You know, the growth of the young guys inside of our program that can be, you know, at the linebacker spot, guys that were here playing, you know, a lot of them as special teams last year, Elijah and Caleb, you know, those two guys in particular. You know, the young guys that we've added, the true freshmen at that position. Aaron Carter's had a great training camp. I said it, I think, a week ago, but you know,
Coach is
he's
smiling up there. I
taken a
see you.
major
I
step
see you,
just,
Coach.
from where he finished spring ball. I'll say the same thing about, you know, T-Lander and Jalen too. On the third level, the young guys are going to play some snaps for us. We have great competition that creates urgency in the meeting room. It creates urgency in the off season. It shows up in the way they play and compete on the practice field. And, you know, today when we're inside the stadium, we have guys that are vets that played a lot of football last year. Those guys have all taken a step in their understanding of how we want to play too. So we absolutely have more depth, more competition, and you know, as we get closer to kickoff, figuring out the rotation, so those guys continue to compete and show that they're going to play at a championship level.
I think to sum up this entire live stream, depth is the key, man. Depth across the board. This football team has depth. That's what excites me. And, you know, yeah, you're losing Hendon Hooker. You're losing Jalen Wright. You're losing a lot. But I think this football team, if they go out and they execute, they can win 10, 11 games. Yeah, I've got them at 9-3. We'll see how it plays out. We're an hour and a half into this thing. I wanted to talk recruiting, but we're going to save that for Saturday. Myself, Coach Jay, will be going live for the commitment of Camarion Franklin. Make sure you tune in for that. And then again, Monday for Jordan Ross. Got a lot of content coming your way. We'll be live again next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So tune in, get in where you fit in. Don't forget, if you want a shot at this hat, you got to become a member of the channel. Hit the join button down below. Joe Brown, make sure you leave me a comment. Let me know how I can get in touch with you to get you a free t-shirt sent your way. But that's going to do it for this one. He's Coach Jay. He's the X Factor. That's Old Dauber. My name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.